Who's got the DVD?
Steve?
Right here.
Walk us through it, Steve.
Okay, here we go.
You see the big chunk of debris
Yeah.
right over there on fire?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how the cameraman is zooming in on it? In about a second, you're going to see these two guys, one's pulling out a body bag, and they're stacking something up against the tray.
It's very intriguing. There are men doing some kind of activity involving mylar blankets, which would be used to cover bodies. If this was a crash, hypothetically, this is what these men could be covering up.
If this tape is real, we will have the first live recorded evidence of a UFO crash in American history.
The videotape of the supposed UFO crash response was anonymously dropped in the mailbox belonging to UFO investigators. And we don't know how many generations removed from the original it is. And without more information, we just can't tell if this is a hoax or not. So to find the truth, we need to meet with the first responders in the area to find out their take about what happened.
November 1992, members of the department did respond up to what was a report of smoke in the area, potential fire.
So now Chief of South Country Ambulance Company Greg Miglino Jr. was on duty that night, November 24th, 1992. If there were an accident or a crash in South Haven County Park, his ambulance would have rolled on it.
So I was in one of my marked vehicles, so I started heading that way. It was determined by either the Park Police or the Suffolk County Police Department, who have jurisdiction over there, that it was just simply some campers that were there later in the year.
So someone announced over the radio that there was no need for any other units to show up.
We weren't specifically told to go away. Once we heard that it was the campgrounds, we released ourselves.
I mean, this is not a scenic national park or anything. It's a county park in the suburbs of Long Island on a weeknight in November, with nighttime temperatures in the 30s. Not exactly the time or place to attract a lot of campers.
Now, if there had been some kind of a hazmat incident or an incident involving nuclear materials, who would roll on that?
In 1992, that would either be the Suffolk County Emergency Services Unit back then, Brookhaven National Lab.
Why would Brookhaven be a facility that would respond to any kind of nuclear accident and be in charge of the decontamination?
Brookhaven National Lab has had a small reactor that they've used for many years for testing, and their firefighters and fire department are explicitly trained in responding to radiological emergencies.
Witnesses reported that Brookhaven National Laboratory was the only fire department allowed access to the park. We've got to talk to this fire crew to confirm or deny the accuracy of this report.
There was nothing that happened, to be totally honest. The 24th, I do have the logbook here. There was nothing unusual, no unusual calls, and the laboratory equipment, as far as Brookhaven National Laboratory, never left site that night for any reason.
Chuck LaSalle is the current chief of the Brookhaven National Laboratory firefighting team. Now, he's been there for 33 years, so he'll know what happened back in November 1992.
Now, there's no mention in the logbook about a crash or even just a fire in general. Does that mean there wasn't a fire in South Haven Park that night? Would it be in the logbook?
I don't know that there was a fire in South Haven Park. I again can tell you, we did not participate or mutual aid in any shape, way, or form to South Haven Park that night.
If you were involved in some sort of operation that dealt with national security, would that be something that might be expunged from your logs, or something that you would not be able to speak about?
I would have to say yes, but I wouldn't lie to you and say, oh, well, this couldn't be kept a secret, except 17 years in a firehouse. If you know anything about a firehouse, we like to brag. And for this never to be released in 17 years, what a great secret.